I have a feeling that by the end of this video, I might end up ripping this thing off because it's pissing me off now too, and I'll explain why. Good morning guys, welcome to the channel. I'm John. Today we're going to be talking about the top 3 hated modifications by the Jeep Wrangler community. We're talking about these modifications are so hated that if you post pictures on Instagram, you post them on Facebook, you upload a video on YouTube, and people that are part of the Jeep community see this post, they will, destroy you in the comment section. Now, lucky for me, I honestly, I also believe this is my Jeep and I do what I want to do with it. At the end of the day, I'm the one paying the bills, and I'm gonna do what I want. But a lot of people were giving me crap for doing this modification. I'm also guilty of doing one of these modifications, and you're probably wondering what modification I'm talking about, and that is that Jeep brow right there. A lot of new Jeep owners are attracted to this modification because they don't get it, and I'm guilty of the same exact thing. You know how I am, guys. I like to tell it how it is. Anyway, let's go ahead and get this thing started. I have a feeling that by the end of this video, I might end up ripping this thing off because it's pissing me off now too, and I'll explain why. So let's go ahead and start with the first modification. All right, as you can see on the screen, the angry eyes. When angry eyes came out, this was spreading all over the place. A lot of Jeep people were doing this, and hardcore Jeep fans that have owned Jeeps for a very long time absolutely hated it. They make fun of it. But anyway, before I get off track, basically the front of the Jeep is iconic. This grille, this dates back to the 40s basically, and this is what these Jeeps are known for. Now think of it this way: if you had like a military Humvee and someone put angry eyes on a military Humvee, how stupid would that be? And Jeep Wrangler owners that have owned these vehicles for a long time, that have had lots of experience off-roading, they know what these vehicles are capable of. They know that this isn't some toy. This is a very capable off-road machine right from the second you pick it up from the dealerships. And as ridiculous as it looks to have something like angry eyes or or whatever other stupid thing you could possibly think of on a military Humvee, these Jeep Wranglers were used in the military back in the day. So that's why people hate it so much, guys. And I'm explaining this because I know I have a lot of new Jeep Wrangler owners on the channel. At the end of the day, guys, you know what? It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. It's your Jeep. If you still like the angry eyes or whatever other modifications you want to do, then go ahead and do it. It's your Jeep, you're making the payments on it. You don't have to listen to anybody. At least for me personally, I used to like the angry look. I never did the angry eyes, but I did do the brow, which is modification number 2. And that's like this brow. The brow, they kind of all do the same thing. They all kind of give the Jeep an angry look. This brow was like, in my opinion, was like the least worst out of all of them, but it's still bad. Like I said, when I first got it, I thought it was cool. I liked the way it looked. But now, over the years of just taking my Jeep off-road and seeing how capable it is, I get how iconic this Jeep grill is. And it's a shame to ruin it with something stupid like that. The same way, like I said, with the military Humvee and the angry eyes, it's like, would you want to see a military Humvee with a cartoonish face on the front of it? Look at this other modification, which is another very hated modification. This grill that I'm showing you right now, it almost looks kind of cartoonish and accomplishes the same thing, kind of just gives the vehicle an angry look. Now, I get it. A lot of people, when they're new to Jeeps, they're attracted to it because there's no other vehicle that I could think of that, you have the ability to mod to kind of give it an angry look or that kind of thing. Now, another thing that a lot of Jeep owners hate, and I don't agree with this one as much, there's a lot of guys in the Jeep community that, they will get really pissed off at other Jeep owners when they see them with expensive light bars, kind of like the light bars I have. These are high-end light bars that cost a lot of money, but they get mad at them when they see them with light bars and they see that the Jeep owner maybe doesn't have lockers, maybe they don't have a winch on the front of it. Lockers, winch, that kind of thing, it's expensive. It's not cheap. I don't know what the deal is. I know some people in Jeep community, they're very strict, and I think it's like a different flavor of people. I don't know. I'm part of that Jeep community also, but I'm not gonna, talk down to anybody or another Jeep owner just because they got light bars. For all you know, this other person, they're probably a mole crawler and they don't want to go off-road, but there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe they just bought the Jeep because they like the look of it and they have no intention of trashing a $50,000, $60,000 vehicle in the woods. Now, when you go into modifications, like I have, the Jeeps, you could spend a lot of money on these Jeeps with the modifications. I've spent a lot on this Jeep, on the modification. And for the guys that are always complaining about people who have the light bars, maybe they don't have lockers, maybe they don't have a winch, or maybe they have it all. Then you got people that, you know, that have deep pockets and they have every modification you could possibly think of. And then people in the Jeep community go ahead and they'll start complaining about them, saying, oh, it's a mole crawler, you know, it's such a waste of money. They basically spent like 100 grand on their Jeep, and trust me, it's very easy to spend that kind of money on a Jeep, and it pisses off some people. Now, I don't know what the deal is with that, and if you understand or you know why, let me know in the comments below. The only thing I could possibly think of is, you know, maybe there's other Jeep people that wish they could afford to drop 90, 100 grand or more on a Jeep, and when they see a Jeep owner who did drop 90 to 100 grand on a Jeep and has all these modifications and they're not put to use, it pisses them off, and then they start going crazy in the comment section. But at the end of the day, that's almost like saying, what's the point of owning a Ferrari? Do you have any idea how many people own Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Vipers, McLaren? I like using my cars for what they're designed for, but a lot of these people that have these other crazy exotic cars that cost serious money, we're not even talking about 100 grand or 120 grand, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars or even more. And how many people have these cars and they literally just sit in a garage, sit in a museum, they're, you know, they go to car shows on Sundays, they shine them up and they stare at their cars basically, they do little cruises. Does anybody really need, you know, 700, 800 horses to go to the grocery store or kind of cruise around town? You know, most of these people don't go hit up road courses. In fact, most people don't even have road courses near them. Like, I don't even have a racetrack anywhere near me personally now. I mean, but I do take a 4-hour drive to go to the racetrack, or I'll visit Mexico to do some racing if I have to. But the point is, just because the vehicle is designed to maybe go, you know, 200 miles an hour or whatever the case is, doesn't mean that that's why you bought it. Maybe you just bought it just because you just like the way the vehicle looks. And the same thing applies to the Jeeps. Some people have the deep pockets, they love the way the Jeeps look. I feel like the Jeeps do have like a very like military type look to them, especially since they're like so squared off. They have a really nice tough look to them, and you don't really need this kind of stuff. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this is the point where I'm gonna go ahead and remove this modification that's been, I don't know, for the past couple months it's just been pissing me off. I've seen other Jeeps show up in my Instagram feed that have that mod, and I'm like, I can't believe I did that modification. It just looks so stupid. And again, that's just my opinion. If you own that same modification, hey, I'm not judging you. Again, it's your Jeep. Now, I'm gonna take this modification off of my Jeep right now. I don't even know. Let's see if this actually comes off in one piece and it's sellable. All right, scratch that. It's no longer for sale. It definitely did get damaged. Probably doing you a favor, guys. All right. This monstrosity has finally been removed from the Jeep. Let's get it the hell out of here. See, this is what the Jeep grill's supposed to look like, guys. Anyway, guys, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, click the bell icon so you can sign up for notifications, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.